Joining us now live, Congressman John Garamendi serves on the House Armed Services Committee. Recently traveled to the Korean Peninsula himself. He's a Democrat from California. Good to see you tonight, sir.
Good to be with you. Congratulations on the new show.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you joining us. As you know, the president is in the midst of his Asia trip. I want to play a little bit of his comments today when he was in Japan with Prime Minister Abe. Here's what he said.
The era of strategic patience is over. Some people said that my rhetoric is very strong, but look what's happened with very weak rhetoric over the last 25 years. Look where we are right now.
What do you think about his rhetoric?
It is very, very dangerous. Not just his rhetoric, but Kim Jong-un's rhetoric. These two folks are not much different than a bunch of kids on the schoolyard cursing each other. The result is usually getting a fight, and we do not want to fight on the Korean Peninsula. Heard your general earlier tonight talking about a catastrophic war, and it would be. The tripwire is very, very taut. There is almost every year some sort of an incident between North Korea and South Korea. Occasionally, the United States troops are involved in that. If that were to happen with this rhetoric going back and forth, it is extraordinarily dangerous.
Well, the president there says, listen, we've been doing the same thing for 25 years. I think it's important that they know the military option is back on the table. He points to the sanctions and other things and says we are finally making progress. What do you say?
Well, I hope we are. We really have to get to the negotiations. Clearly, China, the president's quite correct, China plays a major role in this, as do the other countries in the area. There used to be what we called the 6 countries that would negotiate with North Korea. There hasn't been a meeting among the 6 countries in North Korea for maybe 6 years, 5 years now. We really need to get back to that. There's no doubt. The Admiral had it quite correct. We are an extraordinary military power, and we could take out North Korea at a huge cost to America. You got 25,000 American servicemen there and their families. So it's not just the servicemen and women, it's their families also. It is very dangerous. When we were there were conversations that my wife had with spouses, and they know they're in a dangerous situation. And 20 million or 25 million Koreans in Seoul.
Yeah, and you were on the ground there not long ago. I think we have some photos from your trip. What do you make about this suggestion that there be direct talks between our leaders? Because, you know, there are a lot of people who say there's no way we should give that level of validity to Kim Jong-un.
We already have. What do you think this back and forth is between the president? Tweets and language. Those are very direct communications back and forth between these two
It's not sitting down to negotiate over a nuclear program, though.
It's not that. But we really must. You don't need to start with the president, but we came very close. In fact, if I recall correctly, the Secretary Tillerson suggested it, and then he was shut down by the president. But we really should get those talks underway. There are other interlocutors that could be involved, certainly China, but there are different ways. You've got to get to the negotiating table. Think back to the 90s. In the 90s, we knew that the North Koreans were developing a nuclear weapon, and it was put on hold. A deal was cut. Unfortunately, that deal fell apart. Different reasons for it. Part of the reasons was that the United States refused to ante up the money that was promised. There are probably reasons why we didn't. I wasn't around at the time, but we were successful then in negotiating a halt to their nuclear program.
Well, and we know so much of the president's focus, the #1 issue with all these countries and leaders he's visiting and talking with is North Korea. So we will watch and see. Thank you for joining us.
Good to be with you.
To share some of your perspective on this tonight.